admit that I wrote this nomination about a year ago and I couldn't remember what I wrote. So, but it doesn't mean it's not authentic and I don't still believe it. So I wanted to share that our lead pastor at St. Peter is Kurt Wenzelberger. Reverend Wenzelberger is a very strong advocate of school. He started out as a teacher first, and he will often tell the teachers and our staff at St. Peter that when the kids leave for the summer, he's a little sad. He doesn't like it. He doesn't like it when the school gets really quiet. And he has always felt that he needs to serve at a church that is affiliated with the school because he's very passionate about Christian and Lutheran education, and he was a teacher first. So he's often led teacher professional development at St. Peter on topics like evolution and creation in the science classroom, integrating the Lutheran faith in all core content areas. He's led our new staff. As you know, sometimes it's not always colloquially trained or Lutheran trained teachers, or even Christian, Catholic. We have teachers now from all different areas of life. So just this fall, he led integrating the Lutheran faith into their instruction, professional development for brand new teachers. He assists our confirmation and religion classes in our 8th grade classroom and guides the students. Every morning that we don't have chapel, we have staff devotions and we all circle up. And as we've grown, we've gotten more and more circle. And Pastor Kurt, as much as he is able, comes out every morning and joins us for our staff devotions as well. The church and school relationship has strengthened exponentially under his leadership and approachability. He supports the teachers, he supports myself in administration, and not only does he serve as an excellent role model as a follower of Christ, but he's also always willing to offer his wisdom and advice when we are trying to make decisions. So part of that is we are in a huge building together pledge campaign and building project at St. Peter. We're adding a second gym and 12 classrooms. Pastor Kurt has been instrumental in moving this project forward. He was adamant to include in the project some building updates within the church, such as an organ redo. I don't know if you know this, but you gotta redo the pipes and add all these leather things, and you've got to redo that, and that's a really big deal. So we're redoing the organ. We're adding room in our mezzanine or our balcony. It's been a big deal at St. Peter to really feel that make sure our congregants and our church and school community feel united. So whether it's during Sunday services, a golf outing, school fundraisers, sporting events, or just greeting students and parents in the hallway, you will find very few people in the church or school side who do not know who Pastor Kurt Wenzelberger is. But most importantly, everyone feels comfortable approaching him and speaking with him, maybe to his, I don't know, maybe he's not as happy about that, but he values the importance of building those relationships and those connections. I feel like maybe the very first year he was at St. Peter, the theme that under his leadership was one. And he will tell you that's still his favorite theme. We really wanted to expand our church and make sure more families from the school join the church and elected to send their children even to the preschool or the K-8 school. So he campaigned for that theme to be one. We're not a preschool over here and a K-8 school here and a church over here. We are all one. And that was the tipping point, I think, of transforming the culture of unity between our church and school that we now experience at St. Peter, and then has led to the exponential growth that we're seeing today. His ministry has truly been a remarkable blessing, and a positive influence on our church and school community. So Pastor Munzelberger, on behalf of the Manns Board of Trustees, it's my pleasure to present you with the Father John Spears Award for your outstanding support of Christian education.
Pastor the microphone when he didn't get to preach this past weekend. I am ready to go. Hey, I'm going to tell you right now, I just spent the last 3 days here in this room for the Michigan District of the LCMS Pastors Conference. And for all of you who are connected to LCMS schools and congregations, you got to promise me that this doesn't leave the room. But you are already way more fun. It's already way more fun. You know, I love being a pastor, but I absolutely love being a teacher. There's no doubt, like Sandy said, I was always a teacher first and foremost. And to be around teachers, administrators, that really is a blessing to me personally, because you guys are where it's at. Sandy is one of the main reasons that we are so successful at our church and school. I mean, she'll say these things about me, but I can tell you right now, as a pastor, as a lead pastor, it is way more exciting when you have people that understand the mission. They understand the mission, and the mission hasn't changed. Jesus gave it to us a while back, and it's still as new today as it was then. And so we are there to make disciples, and that's what it's all about. And it's awesome to be with people who truly understand what that means. Again, being a teacher has been a blessing to me personally. It's a blessing to be here. This is exciting. I want to thank Manns and everybody that's part of it, the trustees, everybody else that's part of the leadership of this. When I came to Michigan about 9 years ago, I came from Wisconsin. I did most of my ministry as a teacher and a pastor over there. I heard about this Manns organization. I was trying to sift it out, figure out what it was all about. But it was really cool to hear how we have our Christian schools working together. Because as Sandy talked about, that theme that we actually still are using, I've just disguised it under other theme names. That theme of being one applies to us here as well. That mission is really going to rely on us sticking together. There's a lot of kids out there, a lot of families who don't know Jesus, and we know that. And it's so evident in our society. In fact, we have to be, I'm going to just put it this way, we got to be the Mr. Versmans of the world. Now, I'm going to tell you who Mr. Versman is, but I'm going to first say this. I know that I do not deserve to even be a pastor. I know I didn't deserve to be a teacher, and I know I don't deserve to be here tonight. But Mr. Versman changed that for me in my life. So I grew up in a household where we went to church every Sunday. I was part of a Lutheran church and a Lutheran school in St. Louis. And in 4th grade, I got to have Mr. Versman as my 4th grade teacher. We were looking so forward to it. His son, Todd, was my best friend. So we were so excited. We got to have Mr. Versman. I really didn't know what administrators do. I didn't really know what principals do. I just feared them, and I have reason to fear them because of the way I was. But at the same time, Mr. Versman was there. And I will tell you that Mr. Versman knew how to handle the Kurt Munzelbergers of this world. I remember at that particular time, in that culture, that setting, many times where Mr. Versman would say, Kurt, I need you to go out and run around the building. Run around twice. Now, it never occurred to me that Mr. Versman probably understood why it took Kurt Munzelberger 20 minutes to run around a small building, because I would mosey around. But either way, we were so excited about having him. He knew how to handle people like me. He related to me well. May have been the first male teacher I ever had. And then midway through that year, Mr. Versman was called by our congregation to become our principal. And I remember we were so sad. We were so sad that he was going to leave the classroom. He was not going to be the principal. Didn't know what principals do. I just knew he was the guy I now needed to fear, all those different things. And I will tell you this, that in 5th grade, I gave him a run for his money. So I was a fighter in 5th grade. And I was, I don't know why, but I was a happy kid. And in 5th grade, I was picking fights here and there and everything else. And there was one particular fight that I learned quickly: when you're a little kid, you probably should pick on somebody your own size. I did not. And I ended up going to the hospital, getting stitches. I bear the scars above my eye. My eye was swelled shut. My mom and dad said, no, you're not staying home the next day, you're going. And so I had to go through that humbling moment of being there with all my friends, including the friend that I had gotten into it with, and just kind of own it. And I knew I had started it, but I also knew this. I knew there was going to be a moment where Mr. Versman called me into his room, into his office. And he did. It was about the end of the day. I had to wait the whole day. There's like strategy behind this now, I understand. I had to wait the whole day. And I get that call to come into his office, and I'm going to tell you what Mr. Versman talked about. He started talking about how yesterday was a cloudy day. He was telling me about how they have statistics and studies and everything else about how cloudy days can affect our attitudes. And he went on and on and on, and I don't remember all the details of what he said, but I remember these words. He said, so Kurt, we're going to chalk up yesterday as a cloudy day in your life. You can head back to the classroom. I was waiting to be suspended, expelled, whatever had to happen. And that wasn't it. He sent me back to the classroom, just telling me it was a cloudy day. And the reason I love this is because Mr. Versman, he showed me grace. He showed me God's grace. And that was the first time. It wasn't like I had never experienced it in my own house, but it was the first time that I got to see why Jesus bears the scars for us. And that day changed everything for me. And that's when I began to, as I got older, consider being a teacher. And I can't tell you how many times I had moments where there were kids in my class who were duking it out, or they were just really just not doing the things doing things the way they should be doing them. And I was able to forgive them and give them that same grace. You know, they say that a legacy is, most times people will think about it's what you leave behind. But there is a saying out there that changes that. A legacy is not what you leave behind. A legacy is what you send forward. And that's what you do. You get to do that all the time. That's why you're some of my favorite people to be around. I don't even know half of you, or most of you. But you are those that get to show what that legacy is all about. That's what Man's is all about. As I did a little bit of research and everything else, it's all about that legacy that sends forward. And we know, again, it's about the mission. But this is what you get to do. You get to be the Mr. Versmans of this world. And I know the reality. I know there are days where you don't feel like it. I know there are days where you have stuff going on in your own life, just like we pastors do. But we get to give grace and live grace. And what an awesome thing that is for all of us. To be able to be the Mr. Versmans to those kids that may not deserve it. The Kurt Munzelbergs of the world. Because you know who they are. They may not bear my name, but they do still bear the name of Jesus. They are still his children. And they need to know what that love and that grace of Jesus is all about. And why, even though I bear my scars, he bears scars that cover all of them. It's an amazing thing that you get to do. I thank God for all of you, and I thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. I know, again, I don't deserve it, but I'm telling you, when you meet Mr. Versman, you understand that it changes everything, because you meet Jesus. That is who he was. That's who he still is. And that's who you get to be. That's who I get to be each and every day. So my prayer is that you go and you live that out, that you celebrate that you get that opportunity, because when it comes to that kind of grace, it really does change everything. God's grace and blessings to all of you, and thank you for what you do. It's awesome.